Hello and welcome to Tech Slice. Today I'll be comparing two phones, the iPhone 6 and 6S in 2017. So, let's get started. Well, when the 6S came out, just a year after this 6, obviously there was many videos, many articles posted up going, which is better, which is worth your money, the 6, get a slightly used 6 for cheaper, or go ahead and buy the $1,000 6S. But now it's been a few years, the iPhone 8 and the iPhone 10's out, so these phones have come down in value dramatically to make these basically a budget phone now. So, which is now worth your money in 2018? So, we'll be comparing what's different and what gets you your best bang for your buck. So let's start with differences. So starting right off the bat, so the 6S has Generation 2 Touch ID. So when the iPhone 5S originally came out, it had Touch ID, version 1.0. So it was pretty good, fairly fast and fairly accurate. But on the 6S, Touch ID 2.0 came out, where it was lightning quick and a lot more accurate. So everything was a lot snappier and made the phone unlock and feel a lot faster in general. Number 2, the size, dimensions and the weight. Now, while these phones may look pretty much identical, there is ever so slight difference between the two. I'll just get my cheat sheet out here quickly. So the iPhone 6S, while if you put it up to next to an iPhone 6, may look pretty much the same. Generally, you can correct me on this, it's 0.2mm taller, 0.1mm wider, and a few grams heavier. Now, while you won't notice that in everyday use at all, does make some cases from the 6 not exactly fit perfectly on the 6S. However, if they're not a tight fitting case, like say, a case like LifeProof, you should get away with being fine. Number 3, the water resistance. Now, while Apple never claimed to have any water resistance in the phone, when taking apart the phone, this phone actually just had a screen replacement done by myself. There is a rubber seal around the display to help keep water out of the phone, making drops in water spills over the phone a tad more resistant and tad more likely to actually survive than this iPhone 6. However, Apple doesn't say anything about it. They don't claim any water resistance, and it's not meant to be submerged in any water, still have any water around it. It's just a backup there just in case. Now, obviously, talking about specs, every new iPhone's the fastest iPhone yet. So, then what's the specs of these? So, the iPhone 6 obviously has Apple's A8 processor, so that's a 1.4 GHz with the M8 motion processor, 1 GB RAM. Where the 6S, they obviously stepped up to the M9 motion processor, 2 gigs of RAM, so your multitasking is going to be a lot better. Phone's going to run faster in general. However, display size is the same, resolution's the same. However, display's not exactly the same, which moves us on to number 4, I think. The 6S has 3D touch. So, as much as a gimmick as it is, the 6S has 3D touch, which means it can register force touches on the screen, so that allows previews of websites, just some extra actions that can be done inside apps if the developers add them in. So depending on how you use your phone, this may be a good thing, may be just a thing you never noticed. Apple have implemented it obviously into iOS pretty well to actually take advantage of it, so you can force touch on things to bring them up higher and whatnot. However, it's more of a gimmick than anything. Moving on to number 5, I think, is the rear camera. Now, while the front camera stayed exactly the same, Apple has put in a superior camera in some ways and not so superior camera in some ways. The one thing about the 6S launch was the camera is improved in the sense you now have 12 megapixels over 8, allowing for more zoom in photos, and also 4K video recording. Now, at the time, the 4K video recording it was out on Samsung phones, but for Apple to put it in, that was a really good step in the right direction, and these days helps the camera hold up to more modern phones. However, in putting more megapixels in, each pixel size has shrunken. So it means the camera isn't generally as good in low light as the 6. So, however, in day-to-day use, in general sunlight, the 6S should be better, but in low light, the 6 is actually better. Now, number 6. Obviously, we've all seen the iPhone 6 Bendgate and the famous Lou from Unbox Therapy, his video on bending the iPhone actually snapping. We've all seen that. So, reason actually why this phone's heavier is Apple upgraded the strength of the aluminium to be a lot stronger, so it won't actually bend in your pocket at all, and it'll stay in its shape, and especially on the 6 model, it won't bend at all in your back pocket or when you try and bend it. So that's generally all the little differences with the 6 and 6S. There might be a few small little things, but that's also the major ones. If I've left anything out, just drop it in the description and drop it in the comments. You can't edit the descriptions. Drop it in the comments below, and that can sort of help other people out. But then, so what's the price difference? These two, you're probably wondering. Well, obviously I'm Australian. I see the Australian market, so I'm not sure about the US market at all, because generally you guys watching my videos are from the US more. So this will obviously be in Australian dollars, whatnot. You can just jump a converter up. So iPhone 6 on eBay generally goes for around 250 to 300 Australian dollars, while the 6S goes for generally around 350 Australian dollars. So the difference there is about $100 for these two phones. So that's the question: is it worth the extra $100? And I'd say definitely. Because one thing with the iPhone 6 is because it's getting slower, it's got 1 gig of RAM, the older processor. This is going to get phased out in Apple's iOS updates sooner or later. So not receive updates, it's generally getting slow, especially with the batteries more worn out on these, with the whole battery saga with Apple. So these are generally a lot slower. Whereas the 6S, it has, because it's got the 2 gig RAM, the faster processor, newer batteries, however ever so slightly smaller, these run a lot faster and have, well, generally sort of better battery life because their batteries are newer. And all the differences are definitely worth it. You're going to enjoy the phone more because it's faster, you'll have it for longer, so you're actually out of pocket for less. So in general, this phone is way superior. Now, obviously, if you got the money for iPhone 7, they're going for about 500-ish. Obviously, yeah, sure, grab one. But if you're looking for that around $400 mark, or around that $300 mark, you got the iPhone 6 and 6S. The iPhone 6S is worth being in your pocket to the iPhone 6. Thanks for watching this video, just on a little comparison which you should buy in 2018, not 2017 anymore. So, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Really, guys, I asked you to subscribe in the recent news about YouTube and hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark. Now, if we don't reach that 1,000 subscribers by 20th of February, we will all channels under 1,000 subscribers will get demonetized till they hit that 1,000 mark. Now, it may seem like, oh, you're only in it for the money. No. In it, obviously, for you guys, the community, we love making videos. However, that money helps grow the channel, make better quality video, obviously recording in 4K these days. So it just helps the channel majorly. See if you can tell friends about us, get subscribed, that would help us out greatly. So guys, thank you.